Hello everyone, this is Zooc, and this is going to be a updated video on drawing materials and pencils and all that other junk. I guess people are too lazy to look back on previous videos because I've done this before, but I guess a couple of things may have changed in the meantime, so might as well keep people updated on the latest discoveries. So, materials. People keep asking, what pencil do you use? What this do you use? What that do you use? It doesn't really make that much of a difference, quite frankly. Just grab a pencil and draw. Of course, if you want to get really advanced with it and make certain tasks easier than others, there are the tools for that, but I guess that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. So, these are basically all the pencils I have. Do you need all this shit? No, you don't. What you actually need from all of this pile of stuff is this. It's a mechanical pencil. With this you can do just about anything. Sure, it might take a little bit longer, but you still can do anything with it. The other issue with it is that it's extremely boring. That's a big problem. At least for me, like if I have to draw for 5 hours and I'm holding the same pencil, doing the same motions, having the same lead thickness and softness or hardness, it gets boring. So I need variety. So I put this down and maybe pick up a, I don't know, let's see, a B pencil like this. This mechanical is also B, but let's say I want to shade something, so I pick this up. As you can see, I've actually gone through this quite a lot, and it's almost worn down completely now. Just got a little bit left of it. I guess the best way to show you what I've actually used is to show you the pencils that are almost completely worn out. This is a B pencil. This is a 7B pencil. This is a 2B pencil. This is a 5B pencil. Can you tell I like shading so far? Yeah. This is a 4B pencil again. This is an HB pencil. Don't use this one quite as much, but still do plenty. This one is a 6B pencil. Let's see, what else? Those are the short ones. This is a Prismacolor, doesn't really count. I'll talk about Prismacolors in a second. This is a 5B pencil. Again, these are the ones that I use most. This and the mechanical pencil. Is this the right way to do it? Probably not. Probably the right way to shade would be to build up a gradient with a harder lead and then use the softer one on the darker side. But since when do I give a shit about what's right and wrong? No, this is comfortable for me. Some people choose to go that path. I choose to go my own path. It's part of creating your own style, really. Like, it doesn't matter. There are no set rules, like you have to use this pencil for this application. But you can, and you can try it, and you can try different things and see what actually works for you. Again, another B pencil. Not quite as worn down as the others, but soon enough. All the other ones, like I have this faber-castell set, which was given to me like over a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. This has been pretty good. But recently, like some months ago, over half a year ago, I purchased a Derwent set. Derwent is, I think, a British, maybe, might be wrong, British brand, but it's found all over the place. Like, it's found here, it's found in any country, any art supply store would have these pencils. It's pretty famous, and I can see the reason for that fame. It just feels different. Like, I can't really, I don't know. Let's see if it does actually, because I've never tested these. I don't really sit around and test my pencils a lot. I just sort of use them as is and get used to them, or not. So these are 2B pencils, identical hardness. I'm going to try and apply equal pressure and see what comes out of this, if indeed it feels any different. So just applying like a medium gradient, not a gradient, a medium shade. Let's try this one. See, there is a sort of a difference. The Derwent just seems a bit grainier, even though it's the same hardness, it feels like it's softer. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing necessarily. Line-wise, I don't think much of a difference. Let's see. Can you actually see this? No, there's no difference line-wise. But shading-wise, the way these two supposedly identical pencils interact with the paper is quite different. Let's just do a second run and see if I'm talking shit or not. No, this does feel softer. Like there's less drag on the paper. It just seems easy. It just seems to rub off easier on the paper. Yeah, I don't know what to say. What's better? Probably none. I mean, probably in a complex drawing, you couldn't even tell the difference or even care about the difference. I mean, if you have a ball and you're shading it, it's not like you would notice, like, oh, this is so much smoother or not than the other pencil. You sort of just keep rubbing it in. Yeah, I know. Just keep rubbing it in until you get to the shade you want, and then just go light. Yeah. So it probably wouldn't even make a difference. But I guess what I use most would be the B hardness, because this mechanical pencil is the same. It's quite okay for shading, I think, at any sort of darkness or level of gradient, really, because you can go really light with it. Not as light as you can go with a, let's say, a 2H pencil. But the Faber-Castell set came with a lot of pencils that I think are pretty useless, for my purpose at least. Like these 5H, or what is this? 2H. Haven't used this one much. I can't really... I guess some people draw very lightly. That would probably be a good application for them. But they don't rub off on the paper very well. Like, they leave marks, you know, you can tell where it's been. You have to be really careful with it, because being a hard type of lead, the tip is very sharp, and it keeps its sharpness, so it's gonna show. The lines are gonna show. Let's not talk about the 5H one, because this is like almost non-existent. Very, very light shade. I guess some people like that sort of stuff. Some people do entire drawings with an HB pencil, and I've done that, and it works. But it's just so fucking boring. I don't see a reason why I shouldn't use the tools that are given to me. Another type of pencil that I use is this woodless pencil. These are very good if you want to shade an extensive area on the paper. These are like 4B, HB, and 2B. So, for example, the 2B one, see? Like, you can shade basically half a page in a second almost. So, it's good for that sort of thing. But these are a pain to sharpen. Like, I wouldn't use this one on an entire drawing, because if the tip goes, then you're screwed. It being so thick, it's very dull at the end, so not very good for detail and finesse. If you want to go for finesse, plus it just always seems very heavy. Like, even those few grams count when you're trying to get a certain shade or a certain line going. This one is the one I use most. This is a 6B for like the really, really dark spots. Say, like, it's close to black, but not really. If I do want to go black, I will grab one of these Prismacolors, because I haven't seen a darker black on a pencil than these. These aren't graphite, however. These are sort of a waxy kind of pencil, but they give you a very dark black, almost ink blackness. I'm not sure if the camera is picking this up. I'm gonna have to maybe get a bit closer with it. But even that 1, 2, or like half a shade darker makes a difference when you're really trying to get a very high contrast going. Plus, the Prismacolors don't shine in the light like graphite does. But the problem with these is that they're not really erasable. Like, if you fuck up, you fuck up, and that's about it. just to show you, I'm gonna pick up my, let's see, where is it? My electric eraser, which always makes people go like, what the fuck is that? You know, this is an electric eraser. I probably use this more than any other type of eraser simply because it's very precise. But I'm gonna try erasing this Prismacolor, and it's actually ripping through the paper, picking up layers of it, so it's all scummy now. You don't want to do that. While on the graphite, there's not really a problem. I mean, sure, it's gonna rip through it slightly, but if you press lightly, then it's much easier. Plus, you don't have to use this for erasing something like that. You can just use a normal eraser, and that's it. Still ripped through the paper just because I pressed so hard on it that it compressed and it went through the other side. But shit happens. You usually don't want to go like put on multiple layers of shit because it'll damage the paper structure. The paper is very grainy. Not very grainy, but paper in general is grainy. This one is grainier than usual. It's just what I prefer, considering I draw a lot of monsters, and when you're drawing something monstrous and you want to get a very irregular texture for like skin, armor items and stuff like that, drawing on a very smooth paper would make it kind of difficult. Like everything would seem smooth and shiny. But for a portrait or something like that, smoother paper generally works. If you're drawing with graphite, if you're drawing with charcoal, a lot of artists choose to use a canvas or a different material. Like every paper has a purpose. Technical drawing paper as well has its own separate degree of graininess. So, I don't know. I guess some people innovate and use something for a purpose that it's not intended for. But this is... what is this? Let's see. This is Derwent paper as well. It's sketching paper. So this is exactly what I need. It's not... This is the second notebook that I bought, so it's pretty good. It's thick enough. Serves the purpose. You don't really want a thin paper because this will happen. You don't really want this to happen, especially if you're a beginner and you erase a lot. For example, I don't really erase that much when I draw. If I do fuck up, I try to work around it and make something out of it instead of erasing, because erasing just makes it look very muddy in the end if you keep drawing on top of it, or especially with the grainy paper, because lines are, if you draw like a really thick black line, it's gonna be very visible. Like here, this is dirt. You can't really erase this out because it's always going to be there. It's embedded in the paper. Unfortunately, this is one of the downsides of using grainier paper. But what you gonna do? If you fuck up and it's truly screwed, then you can just start from the beginning. Eraser wise, always have a needed eraser. This is like the most awesome thing. Can't really draw without one of these. And a standard eraser in case you need to like erase maybe cuts or something, or you can just shave off a bit of it and create a sharp edge for extra detail if you want to add like a highlight somewhere or something like that, or just use it as is and just erase the shit out of it. This is generally better for if you want to erase something completely. It does a better job than the kneaded eraser, because with this you can just, let's say you made a gradient and you want to lighten up the end of it. So you can just like tap this one over it and maybe rub it off very lightly a little bit. Rub it off. Jesus Christ, how many fucking innuendos in this video. But this is much better for achieving that effect, or lightening up an area altogether. You know, just tap over it, get the first layer out, and that's it. You know, this is much lighter now. So that's kind of the purpose to use these. Now one of this is it's a smudging stick or blending stump. I don't use these as much as I used to. I sort of prefer to make my gradients by hand really, or as is. But these are very useful as well in case you want to draw something or smooth out a gradient when you're drawing something very shiny. This is what it does. Just smudge over it. The fact is that on this very grainy paper it doesn't look very good because the stuff that's in the indentations stays there. Like you can't really smudge that part unless you press down like crazy, and then you might not obtain the effect that you're going for. So this looks very dirty now. It's not a very smooth gradient. The camera is probably picking it up as such, but the camera is shit, so that's why. Like this is what it looks like. So it's not the smoothest gradient. It's not something that you'd put on a window or just not very smooth. But this is a very valid tool if you're drawing on smoother paper, like the Strathmore 400 series extra smooth drawing paper. Then it works perfectly. This is awesome for that. This is a stylus. What this does is create indentations in the paper for drawing hair, mustaches, certain seams on leather items, or highlights on metal items. But I mostly use it for hair, really. Like all the other stuff I can get by hand at this level. If I want to go truly super detailed, then I will use this. But all you gotta do with this is just try to not press too hard, and you'll get pretty good effects with it. Thing is, if you fuck up with this one, it's generally screwed, because you cannot remedy something like this. Like, the damage is done. You basically damaged the paper. You ruined its structure. I don't know if you can see this, but there's like white lines and shit. That's what it comes down to. So makes white lines, very thin white lines, which you can't really get by hand, but this is what it is. And that's about it for tools. The only other tool I use for is a standard sharpener, which you can find at any arts and crafts store. And these, which I got with my faber-castell set, this is a 9B woodless graphite stick. It's very thick. This one I use for, like, if I want to shade around the character and I want to just make it the entire page black, this is what I'll use. Like with this one, you can get pretty decent coverage pretty quick. But again, you can't really erase this away, because it compresses the paper structure so much that you can basically see it with the naked eye. Like, it's creased right now. It has creases from pressing down so hard on it. And you can't really get any more black than this, because this is like the softest pencil you can have, basically. So doesn't look the best. Usually I can try to like fix it with a fix like the white gaps with a Prismacolor pencil, or a thinner, even thinner woodless graphite, because it just rubs off on the paper differently than the thick one. So yeah, that's it. That's all I use. Again, B, 2B, 3B, 4B, 5B, 6B. More often than not, for just regular plain old drawing, I'll use a B. I think that's the best for me. And also one of these 0.35 mechanical pencils. I'm not sure what hardness this is. I think this is HB or maybe B. It's hard saying B so many times. But this one is really good in case you want to get really fine with it and get in there for the details and the lines and thin lines and random hairs and stuff. This other one is a 0.5. So these are like the only two mechanicals that I use. And that's it. I can't really explain any more than that. It's just getting used to whatever you have at hand, really. But if you're feeling like a big spender, do get one of these, because this is really good, and it's truly worth it. It's about 30 bucks on Amazon, but if you're serious about it, then you won't regret getting one. And look for the Strathmore line of drawing paper. Those have what is generally accepted to be the best drawing paper you can get. So look into it. But yeah, that's it for now. Hopefully I've answered some people's questions, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.